Now what we're going to do with our script file is we're going to save it as a new name. So we're going to say create user Joe. Make sure it doesn't save it in a text file, and we'll save it. So what do we have? We have a user called Joe. What I'd like to do is actually create this and run it as a script. So what I've done is, if I go back to my Explorer, is I've created a file called user Joe. So I'm going to close this file. What I want to do is I want to run him in SQL Plus in a command line. I could copy and paste it directly into SQL Plus, but then I would have an issue with the way this log file and the path is created. So I'm going to open up a DOS command line shell, and notice how I've gone directly into the directory where my Joe schema / user creation script is stored. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type SQL Plus. I'm going to type the name of my DBA user. I'm going to push in create user Joe. What I'm doing is I'm SQL Plus connecting to the sys user at my TNS name, which is my database, and I'm passing in the name of the script, which is create user Joe, with the @ sign. I hit return, and it asks me for my password. It seems we have an error. I appear to have forgotten my sys username password, so let's try another way. Let's try SQL Plus system at DNS name at create user Joe. It will ask me for my password, and it seems I've remembered that one. Now let's go and have a look at the log file, and I find I have create Joe. It says user created, grant succeeded, grant succeeded, grant succeeded. If I go back to my command line window, this is what is produced in the log file. If we mark it, we can see it. That if there were errors, they would pop up in the log file as well. So when you're running a sequence of scripts, you can actually go to the log files and make sure that there were no errors. You could even go so far as writing things like Perl scripts or using Unix shell scripting languages to pass through log files and look for errors when you're running lots and lots of scripts at the same time. That's created a user. Now let's go and create another user. Unlike Joe, who is an end user who has very few privileges, we're now going to create a developer type user who has lots of system privileges. So I'm going to do this in Oracle Enterprise Manager so we can see how to do it this way as well. So let's click on databases and let's log in to my database. This time I'm going to log in as sys, because now I've managed to figure out what the password is. Now let's move this across a little so we can see, and we're going to go and create a user in security. So we'll create a new user. Let's resize this a little so we can see. So let's create a user called developer. Profile, there will be no profile. Password authentication, we'll just give him password. Developer, same as his username. The default table space will be data. The temporary table space, as you can see, is system assigned automatically, and we want to go down and look for our temporary table space. His status is obviously unlocked. His password will not expire now. What we want to do is show SQL. If you click the show SQL button, it will show you the SQL that the system is going to run to create this user. So it says create user developer, default profile identified by developer, default table space, temporary table space, account unlock, and it grants connect. What we want to do is we want to change this. We're actually going to grant only create session. So let's go and create this user. The user has been created successfully. And what I want to do, since Connect has been deprecated, is I want to go and remove it. So let's clear the screen. Let's connect. And let's do revoke a privilege. We will get onto that. Connect role from developer, and we will grant create session to developer. So now I can connect as developer. Correct. Now let's go and look at the privileges we can assign. Let's first of all take a look at the available roles. Now in Oracle 8, what you would do is you would simply assign connect and generally resource. In Oracle 9, it is preferable to build your own sets of roles or assign individual privileges to developer. So far I've assigned only a create session system privilege, as you can see here, to developer. What we need to do is go a little further and examine what the different privileges are, what they mean, what we can do with them, before we will assign all this stuff to developer.